Liz Coley, and welcome back to Undercover Reading. We're reading The Captain's Kid. We're up to Chapter 6, Part 4. Days on the ship were regulated just like those on Luna. The ambient light changed wavelengths and brightness throughout the day to give our internal clocks a guide. At night, the main lights darkened and gave way to task lights. In the morning, room lights gradually increased like an artificial dawn to wake us by 0600 ship's time. As usual, when my alarm woke me the rest of the way, I glanced at my wrist to orient myself and shut off the annoying honk. It was one-day morning. First day of the new week. First day of school. The flutter in my stomach could have been excitement, nerves, or hunger. I hopped out of bed, stowed the covers, flipped it into the wall niche. Dad whistled tunefully in the bathroom. With a pair of navy pants and a gray V-neck shirt tucked over my arm, I knocked and called, "Gonna be long?" The door opened. "All yours, kiddo." Dad's damp hair was combed neatly into place, and he smelled like soap. "I'm off to an early staff meeting. Have fun at school. Make sure you look out the window a few times. Should have great views of Earth and Luna as we pull away." "Will I see you at dinner?" I asked. "You bet. How about 2000 in the dining room?" "Perfect. See you later, Dad." Funny to think he was only an elevator away from work, but I'd see even less of him here. At breakfast, we all marched over to the Education Center to find Miss Jan's room. The four walls were lined with 32 individual study carrels. On the privacy screens around each desktop, someone had created wallpaper of collages of photos, posters, and diagrams. The dark gray carpeted floor of the room dropped away toward the center in two shallow levels, forming a mini amphitheater, with cushions scattered on the broad steps. Our teacher was nowhere in sight. 18 of us milled around uncertainly until Con started a trend toward the carols. Ms. Jan bustled into the classroom, extremely flushed and flustered. Sorry, she puffed. "I got off in the wrong octant, veered left instead of right, and ran all the way round the hub." "What are you doing all the way over there?" "Come over here and grab a cushion." She plopped down on the top step of the sunken area. Her curly hair sproinged in every direction. She tucked it behind her ears, but it leapt free again. "Everyone grab a spot. It doesn't matter where. Isn't this great? This is where we'll hold group discussions. Desks are for quiet, individual work." Con pointed to the carols. "I helped put all that stuff up, Karthik, when I was, She winked and I cringed. I could hardly have chosen a less subtle team. I sat on a green cushion, reminded a bit of carpet squares in preschool. Karthik sat on blue. Con picked purple. Sherry and Audrey picked up orange pillows, glanced at us uncertainly, and then sat across the circle. Mo sat between them. His eyes narrowed at me. Come all," Miss Jan said. "I just love this room. It feels so theater in the round, so Greek. We can all see each other, not the backs of our heads. Let's get introduced while I catch my breath." My head whirled as the names flew by. Minette Gilles, Susie Wong, Leslie McBride, and then us. Then four that were too fast for me to keep track of, and then Sherry and Audrey and Mo, another cluster, and then we were back to the beginning. "I'm Miss Jan, as you know, your humanities teacher and advisor. I've got you from 8 to 11 for literature and historical studies. Here's my plan for classwork this year. 2 hours of discussion normally, and the third hour will be quiet study and work time. At 11, you'll transition to the rec center with Miss Greta for daily fitness and games. Then off to the cafe for lunch. Dr. M has you next door and in the lab for math and science from 13 to 16 with another hour of study time. Questions? No? Good." I groaned inside. School from 8 till 16? On Luna, the school day was only 6 hours total. But it got worse as Miss Jan went on. 16 to 18, the arts program takes over. You'll mix with the littles and uppers for performing and visual arts. Then off to dinner and any remaining homework. Questions? I directed my question in a whisper to Karthik. "Is it always like this? School from waking to sleeping?" Karthik nodded. 6 days a week. 6! I echoed, just a little too loudly. Heads turned. Karthik leaned closer. "People get strange on a long voyage if they have unstructured time, so they keep us busy." I tuned back in as Miss Jan was explaining her curriculum, a matched history and lit program. We'd start with Old Earth's dead cultures and dead language lit, translated into common, of course, then pre-expansion history and world lit, and at the end we'd cover recent history, the expansion, with poetry and stories brought home from the colonial planets, plus weekly grammar, spelling, and vocabulary. Your first reading assignments on the Greeks are loaded on the handhelds and also accessible on your room computers and watch comms if you can stand the V-screens. Con, could you please distribute the handhelds? Please read tonight's assignment so we can start that discussion tomorrow. In the meantime, I've prepared grammar and spelling assignments and a writing exercise to help me get to know you. If everyone could choose a carol. Dang, tests right off? Don't stress, Miss Jan said. This isn't graded. I picked a study desk with pictures of famous Earth City skylines. I didn't have a clue which ones they were, but I loved the shapes they made against the blue skies, sunset streak clouds, and starry nights. I logged in and got to work. The Common Grammar test was a snap. Everyone spoke Common as their first language. Then, if they were interested, learned a regional language at school, opposite of the olden days, when regional languages came first, and kids learned Common, or as it was then called English, in school. Common spelling was a nightmare. Miss Jan used a dynamic assessment. The test started with easy words and got harder and harder until I missed 3 in a row, which was a relief because I could move on to the writing prompt. Quote, what I like about my home, quote, gave me the chance to write about a childhood on Luna, which was unique in this group. I switched the keyboard layout to Dvorak. I could type faster that way and got to work. Wrap it up in 5, Miss Jan said. I'd like to share a couple examples to get a little conversation going. She must have been reading along on her teacher desk while we wrote because she already had 2 picked out, neither of which, thank goodness, was mine. I'll read them anonymously for now, since I know you teenagers can be a bit shy. Come on over to our little amphitheater, she called. When we write, we can't help but show a glimpse into our deepest selves, whether it's our secret fears, dearest hopes, most painful memories, or most wonderful moments of epiphany. These bits of ourselves fuel our creative engines when we are at our most powerful. Faces turned nervous. Was that what we were doing? Whose souls would be hung out for everyone to see? This first one I found particularly touching and especially original as it was submitted in poetry. She read, my home revolves about a single chair, a battered leather remnant of the past, dumb furniture, yet seemingly aware the one who used to fill its arms is lost. The pillow holds impression of his hair. The seat bears creases from his times at rest. The footstool over years has been rubbed bare, but this of all we have, I love the best. I find a sense of peace is fleeting rare, and mournful moments harder to resist. But Father's seat is one place where I dare call to his soul and tell him he is missed. I ease myself into his empty chair, and nestled like a fledgling in his nest, I placed my damaged heart in Allah's care, and try to find the ways in which I'm blessed. The class reacted with a moment of stunned silence, followed by a few whispered wows. My vision blurred as an image of Mom's rocking chair sprang to mind, never letting me forget. Hi, Mom. Miss you too. Tracking the faces around our circle, I had no idea who had written the piece. Lots of eyes were moist. Even Mo was pretending to chase an eyelash out of his eye. Miss Jan allowed us to settle our emotions before she went on. As you may all appreciate, thanks to your classmate, deep pain is a powerful creative impulse. Let's study this poem, shall we? The class opened up. The conversation raged on. Miss Jan sat back and smiled appreciation. I felt out of my depth. When lunch break came, people were still talking about the different pieces she'd read and trying to guess who had written them. Mo walked past me and Karthik. Karthik caught him by the arm. Mo, I just wanted to let you know how much I admired your poetry. You're a braver man than I am to put that out there. He shrugged. I didn't exactly know she was going to read it, but thanks. I watched Mo leave in puzzlement. He wrote that? Mo wrote that? Are you kidding? You didn't know? Karthik asked. How could I? I replied. Ah, I see. Mo lost his father 4 years ago on a mission. 4 years. You mean at the same time that my mom... Yes, my friend, it was the same mission. Mo's father was the chief medical officer at the time. He was on the same landing shuttle as your mother when it went missing. It has been very difficult for him since then. And of course this mission renews those memories for him. You don't need to tell me that. I guess we're in the same chair, so to speak. Why do you suppose he's so weird to me all the time? Then it hit me. You think he blames my mom? Karthik shrugged. I have no idea. Maybe you should ask him. He was right. I should. I wasn't used to confrontation, but I'd had about enough of this Band-Aid stuff, along with his attitude. The only thing was, I didn't even know enough about the accident to defend her. Well, that is the end of that section. Please come back for the next one. Thanks. Bye.